Hi there, I'm Chuck Thompson, and I've had the pleasure of doing the play-by-play of all of the Baltimore Colt games for National Beer from the Chesapeake Bay, the land of pleasant living, for the past 5 years. Believe me, we have seen some great football during that time. Now, each year, we've made a highlight film of the most exciting games, the most thrilling plays of the season. And the film you're about to see, the 59 Colts World Champions, is the latest in our series of Colt films. And I think you'll agree it's one of the best. Now, this film is available to groups and organizations. And if you'd like to arrange for a showing, contact the National Brewing Company, Baltimore, Orlando, or Detroit, or the National Beer Distributor in your area. And now, let's meet the 59 Colts.
These are the men who wouldn't be denied. These are the members of the 1959 Baltimore Colt football team, the team that seemed all washed up at midseason, but who, from flat on their backs, started a thrilling 5-game winning streak that proved beyond all doubt that they were world champions. But let's start at the beginning. The season opened on a high note when the Colts played host to the Detroit Lions. The Lions, although not rated as championship contenders, were always dangerous. And the Colts came on the field a determined football team. Now here's National Beer's play-by-play announcer, Chuck Thompson, to describe the action in the Colts opener against the Lions.
The Lions take control late in the first period with veteran fullback John Henry Johnson galloping wide to the left and charging all the way to the Colt 29 on a 31-yard play. The massive Colt line slows the Lions, but Jim Martin's 4th down field goal puts Detroit into the lead, 3-0 going into the second quarter. In the second half, Rote returns to the passing game with devastating results. Hopalong Cassidy gets loose in time to snag the pass for a 37-yard play that makes it goal to go for the Lions. Dan Lewis cuts back over tackle and slants into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. Detroit moves out to a 9-0 margin over the champions. It's time for the Colts to get to work, and they know it. Unitas tosses to Alan Amici. Amici fumbles at the 30, but Lenny Moore lopes in to recover and carry to the Detroit 22. Watch in slow motion as the Colts try more at the running game. Lenny finds an opening in the Lion line and filters through for 8 yards. With the goal line just 1 yard away, Amici turns on the power and blasts through for the touchdown. The Lion lead narrows to 9-7. The Detroit team can't gain against the devastating Colt defense, and Baltimore moves as Unitas calls for a long pass. Jim Mutchler has to really reach, but he hangs on for a 34-yard gain. The Colts keep the Lions off his back as Johnny Unitas coolly fires a touchdown strike to Raymond Berry. The Colts lead 14-9, and Unitas has now passed for a touchdown in 26 straight games. The Colts want to lengthen their lead, and Unitas knows just how to do it. He zeroes in on Jim Mutchler. Big Jim has it in the end zone for the final TD of the game as the Colts get off to a flying start in their drive to repeat as world champions by defeating Detroit 21-9. The Colts dropped their second game to the title-hungry Chicago Bears 26-21. But followed with a victory when they stopped the Lions again in Detroit 31-24. Now the Colts are in Chicago for a showdown battle with the Bears. The Bears are the only team that has managed to down the Colts thus far in league play, and the world champions are determined not to let it happen again. The Colts take the initiative in the first quarter. Johnny Unitas lobs a short pass to Dupre, and LG dodges down the sideline for a nice 18-yard gain. The Colts give Unitas good protection, and he pegs out to Lenny Moore. Lenny tries to fake his way past two Bear defenders, but they nail him on the Chicago 29. Unitas calls for the same play. Lenny is loose and takes the ball on the run to tear off another 14-yard gain. Alan the Horse Amici runs right over everybody, including his own blocker, to chalk up the first score of the game as Baltimore leads the Bears 7-0. The Bears come out snarling for the second half. Zeke Bratkowski puts teeth into their offense with a perfect pass to Willard Duval, who bites off a few yards of his own on a 36-yard play. With the ball on the Colt 30, Bratkowski pitches out to Willie Gallimore, and Willie wheels through the Baltimore defenders on a weaving 30-yard touchdown run. The Chicago Bears tie it up at 7-7. On the final play of the third quarter, Unitas has the Colts cantering downfield. Lenny Moore takes his pass and lands head first on the Bears' 36. Unitas opens the final period by passing down and out to Moore, who makes the catch draped over the shoulder of Vic Zucco. Lenny Moore manages to be where the Bears aren't for the third straight time. Touchdown Colts. Baltimore breaks the tie to lead 14-7. Down by 7, the Bears are throwing on every play. Don Shinnick puts a stop to that as he intercepts, and with fine blocking by Milt Davis and Dick Szymanski, gallops to the Chicago 14. Unitas and Dupre show the Bears how it's done with a scoring pass from the 1. The final touchdown comes with 55 seconds left in the game as Baltimore defeats Chicago 21-7.
The Colts' next opponent was the Green Bay Packers, who had gotten off to a flying start and were tied for the league lead at this stage of the game. But the champions had too many horses for the men from Green Bay and came out on top 38-21. The next visitors to Baltimore Stadium were the Cleveland Browns, featuring fullback Jimmy Brown and company. The Browns, Jimmy and the team, took a liking to the turf at Memorial Stadium and handed the Colts their second setback of the '59 season, 38-31. If there was a low spot in the 1959 season for the Baltimore Colts, this was it. The heavily favored Colts just couldn't get rolling, and the fired-up Redskins pulled a surprise 27-24 victory out of the hat. The Colts had now lost 3 games while winning 4, and their hopes for a second title were dim, to say the least. The chips were down as they traveled to Milwaukee for a return match with the contending Green Bay Packers.
Early in the game, Bart Starr throws a flare pass to Paul Hornung. The ball bounces free, and Gene Lipscomb picks it off, starting a tremendous saga that henceforth shall be known as the return of Big Daddy Lipscomb. 45 yards down the sidelines until knocked out on the 15. The Colts attempt a bit of trickery as Raymond Brown passes on a fake field goal, but Emlyn Tunnell breaks up the effort. Near the end of the first quarter, the Colts are down by 3 as Unitas hits Berry for the first down on the Packer 26. Lenny Moore takes a handoff from Unitas. As the hard-hitting Colt offensive line opens the way, Lenny streaks through Green Bay to go 26 yards for a score. The Colts are ahead after the first quarter, 7-3. The Colts start another drive as Unitas stays in the pocket behind perfect blocking. Johnny fires out to the right flat to Lenny Moore. Lenny keeps his balance and almost gets away as he carries to the Packer 42. Unitas gets plenty of time again as he fakes once, then hits Amici swinging around the end, and the big horse rolls for 30 yards before he's tripped up by Hank Greminger. John Unitas keeps his touchdown record going as he hits Raymond Berry in the end zone. Unitas has now thrown for a score in 33 consecutive ball games, and the Colts lead 14-3. The Colts want more as Unitas fakes a draw, then hits Moore on the flare pass. And the elusive Colts slides by the Packers behind good downfield blocking to set up another Colts score. Unitas drops back and looks as Raymond Berry goes down and out. Johnny hangs it up there, and Berry pulls it down for another Colt tally. The Colts are way out in front after 2 quarters, 21-3. In the third period, Packer back Jim Taylor takes a pitch out and follows his guard, Jerry Kramer, around right end. Taylor turns the corner and sprints to the 4-yard line. Taylor now finishes the job as he slides off and goes in for Green Bay. The Packers now trail 21-10. Bart Starr is doing more damage to the Colts. He drops back and hits Taylor over the middle. Big Jim, a 210-pounder from LSU, knows the way as he barrels into the end zone, and Packer fans go wild as their boys are close at 21-17. The Packers have more in store for Baltimore. Paul Hornung is doing the ball carrying, and what a job Paul does. Hornung goes 63 yards before Andy Nelson can finally catch up. This could be the turning point of the season for the Baltimore Colts as the burly Baltimore defensive unit has to dig in. Starr tries a pass on third down, but Gino Marchetti is on him like a cat. And with the other Colt linemen rushing in, Starr tries to run, but Marchetti has him for a loss. Hornung tries a 22-yard placement, but it's off the mark, and the Colts still lead 21-17. Unitas knows he's not safe with this short lead. He hits Jim Mutchler on the dead run, and the rugged Colt wingman races to complete a 30-yard gain as the third quarter ends. In the fourth quarter, Unitas dodges Henry Jordan and again fires to Mutchler. Jim won't stop until he's in the end zone, and the Colts increase their lead to 28-17. Bart Starr keeps his Packers on the track as he drops back to pass. Starr can't find a receiver, so he keeps himself on a nifty run to the Colt 11. Jim Taylor finishes the scoring as he bolts over from 3 yards out. The Baltimore Colts take an exciting 28-24 decision to move within 1 game of first place and stay in contention in that hot Western Conference race. Next on the schedule were the league-leading San Francisco 49ers. If the Colts were to repeat as champions, this was the game they would have to win. A win here means a tie for first place. The fourth sellout crowd of the season is on hand to cheer the Colts. In the second quarter, Unitas gives off to Moore. Lenny passes downfield to Jerry Richardson, and the Colts are on the way. A penalty puts the ball in the 1, and Unitas takes it over for Baltimore's first score, and the Colts lead the Prospectors 7-0. Moments later, the 49ers are deep in their own territory, but not for long. Y.A. Tittle throws to Hugh McElhenney on the screen. Hugh has blockers aplenty as he takes off through the Colt defenders on one of his electrifying broken field dashes. Hurrying Hugh goes for 72 before the fleet-footed Andy Nelson can corral him on the Colt 12. The prospector push carries to the 4, and Tittle finds the going easier through the air as he hits Joe Perry with a swing pass. Joe the Jet hits pay dirt for the Prospectors, and they tie it up 7-7. The 49ers' high-scoring rookie place kicker Tommy Davis kicks off. Speed merchant Johnny Sample takes it for Baltimore, and Sample breaks loose and scampers away on an 80-yard return. Eddie Duff finally downs him on the San Francisco 13, but that's too close for comfort. A penalty puts Baltimore even closer, and Alan Amici picks up the 6 points as he drives in for the touchdown. Colts 14, 49ers 7. Unitas cashes in on a 49er fumble as he throws his 24th touchdown pass of the year. Raymond Berry is by himself to score, and the Colts have a 14-point margin at halftime, 21-7. The Colts flash their best form of the season in the third quarter. Lenny Moore takes a flare pass deep into the prospector claim as he gets to the 21. The Colts are hard to stop when they get this close, and the slow-motion camera shows why. Lenny Moore executes a breakout pattern to perfection. Unitas gives Lenny just the right lead, and Moore pulls it in for the touchdown, and Baltimore now leads San Francisco 28-7. As the final quarter starts, it's 28-14, but Baltimore is attacking again. Mike Summers slams to a Colt first down in 49er territory. With the ball on the 49er 31, gets set for a spectacular demonstration of Lenny Moore's running ability as he turns in one of the strangest gallops of the year. Lenny is hemmed in and gets turned around. As we stop the action, it looks impossible for Moore to get much further. But let's watch what happens. Lenny's strategic retreat makes it 35-14 Colts. The Hosses refuse to let up late in the game. Rookie Hal Lewis takes a Unitas toss, and the halfback from the University of Houston winds up inside the 49er 5. Alan Amici gets his second touchdown of the fray, and the Baltimore Colts add a field goal to startle the 49ers of San Francisco with a 45-14 mastery that moves them into a first-place tie in the Western Conference. The Colts took the Los Angeles Rams in stride at Memorial Stadium, 35-21. They were still tied for first place with the 49ers as they moved into San Francisco's Kezar Stadium. This is the one that they've been waiting for in the Golden Gate City. Today's winner takes over first place in the Western Conference and clinches a tie for the title. The Colts move early in the game. Moore catches a look-in pass from Unitas and fights to the Colt 45. Unitas drops back, fakes a short one, and then hits Moore in the right flat, and Lenny's forward progress is stopped on the 49er 23. Unitas goes back behind his stone wall and hits Amici swinging around the end, and the horse pulls it in as the Colts kick up their heels. Unitas goes back to pass and then calmly fires to Berry on the button hook, and the Colts have a touchdown. Johnny has now thrown for a score in 36 consecutive games as the Colts lead 7-0. It's the second quarter with John Brody guiding the 49ers. Milt Davis intercepts Brody's pass, and the alert Colt hops to his feet and follows linebacker Bill Pellington. Milt cuts across field, dodging Bob St. Clair and picking up a wave of blockers led by Andy Nelson. Milt races all the way for a 57-yard touchdown. The Colts, who have never beaten the 49ers on the coast, now lead 14-0. The 49ers know that they must fight back quickly, and J.D. Smith seemingly gets buried by the Colt line, but Smith gets free, and J.D. jets away, and nobody can catch up as he sprints 66 yards for a touchdown, and the 49ers move close, 14-7. In the third quarter, Brody backpedals to pass. He fires, but Don Shinnick intercepts for Baltimore, and the Husky linebacker from UCLA returns to the San Francisco 32. The Colts are threatening as Unitas fades again. Johnny fires a high pass, and Raymond Berry goes up to pull it down on the Prospector 12. Unitas is playing and calling a nearly perfect game. John can't find a receiver, but he does spot some running room and streaks past the bewildered Prospectors to score. The 49ers block the kick and then rally to make it 20-14 going into the final period. But the Colts came west to win. Unitas pitches, and Raymond Berry makes an unbelievable leaping turn to snare it for his second touchdown. It's 27-14, and Unitas has equaled Sid Luckman's record with 28 touchdown passes in one season. The 49er ace Y.A. Tittle enters the game. Y.A. has led his team out of the depths many times, but Don Shinnick scuttles Prospector hopes with his second vital interception. Unitas passes to Moore. Dave Baker goes for the ball and misses, and that opens the gates for Lenny Moore to make the catch. Not even speedy Eddie Dove can catch Lightning Lenny as he romps home to give the Colts an exciting 34-14 win over the 49ers. This scoring pass by Unitas, his 29th, sets a new record for touchdown passes in a single season. There was no let-up on the pressure on the Baltimore Colts. To be assured of a Western Conference title, they had to win or tie in Los Angeles or face the prospect of a playoff with the fast-moving Chicago Bears and the still dangerous 49ers. Leading 3-0, the Rams move behind Billy Wade. Billy hits John Arnett on the 39, and John gets turned around but keeps his balance to rip off a 33-yard gain. Joe Marconi bangs across from close range, and an upset could be in the air. The Rams hold a 10-point lead. Great blocking by Spinney and Prees opens the gates for Mike Summer, and the former George Washington speed merchant pours it on as he stampedes 53 yards for a Colt touchdown to make it 10-7 at the end of the first period. The Rams stretch their lead to 13-7, but Johnny Unitas makes it 37 games in a row in which he has thrown a touchdown pass as Raymond Berry makes a spectacular reception, and the Colts go ahead 14-13. The teams trade field goals, and it's 17-16 Colts when Bill Wade has a short pass pilfered by Bill Pellington. Gino Marchetti streaks in to provide a slashing block, and Pellington races to the Ram 11. Unitas fakes to Pricer and hits Berry right under the goalpost as the Colts pull out to a 24-16 lead. The Rams keep trying. John Arnett seems to be headed for a loss as he comes wide, but a right-angle turn at full speed sets Arnett free, and John waltzes in on a 27-yard masterpiece. The Rams are just 1 point back, 24-23. The Rams strike again as Wade hits his freewheeling halfback Arnett, and Arnett gets to the Colt 26. The Colts tighten their defense, so Lou Michaels hits on his 4th field goal of the game, and the Rams take a third period advantage, 26-24. Baltimore opens the fateful fourth quarter as Unitas hits Lenny Moore for a first down in Ram territory. The Colts work their way goalward, and Unitas brings them in as he hooks up with Jerry Richardson to put them ahead 31-26. Baltimore puts the pressure on Billy Wade. Dick Szymanski grabs the 40th Colt interception of the year and races 15 yards for another score. The Colts lead 38-26 as Szymanski gets a big hand from a jubilant Don Shinnick. The Colts' tremendous defensive unit forces the Rams' Lou Michaels to try his 5th three-pointer of the day. The line drive kick is short, and Carl Tassett tries to run it back. Tassett zigs and zags and stutters briefly, then eludes 8 Rams in the first 15 yards and breaks into the clear. The veteran Colt defender picks up a convoy as he goes 99 yards for the final touchdown and one of the most spectacular runs of the year. Their 45-26 victory gives the Baltimore Colts the Western Conference Championship and the right to meet the Giants for the world title for the 2nd consecutive year.
Well, the Colts did it. They racked up 5 straight wins to bring home to Baltimore their 2nd consecutive Western Conference title. A lot of the experts had written the Colts off in mid-season, but now the Colts proved what champions are made of. Before we go to the film of the World Championship game between the Baltimore Colts and the New York Giants, here is Chuck Thompson to show in stop-motion photography some of the outstanding plays of the Colts' 1959 season.
Thank you, Bailey. Now, fans, these are just some of the plays that show the determination and the extra effort that enabled the Colts to repeat as world champions. You heard Bailey mention the fact the Colts had lost 2 in a row to the Browns and to the Redskins. Then they journeyed to Milwaukee and enjoyed a 21-17 lead over the Packers late in the 3rd quarter. But suddenly the Packers were down on the Colt 8-yard line. We would like to take you to Milwaukee now and show you this extra effort play on the part of the Colts defensive line. The Green Bay quarterback Bart Starr fades back to throw. Gino Marchetti rushes by his would-be blockers. And now let's stop the film and show you that extra effort. Notice that Bracey, Lipscomb, and Ray Krause are all up in the air blocking the line of flight of that pass. The result? See for yourself. For our 2nd outstanding play demonstrating extra effort, we've selected that same ball game, the Colts against the Packers in Milwaukee. The Colts enjoyed a 21-17 lead early in the 4th quarter when John Unitas hooked up with Jimmy Mutchler on a pass completion that really called for extra effort. And now let's go back to Milwaukee once again and show you this play. Unitas fades back to pass and now fires downfield where Jimmy Mutchler is waiting inside the Green Bay 10. And right here, we're going to stop our film to show you that extra effort. You'll notice that Jesse Whittenden, number 47, comes over and puts on what appears to be a clinching block on Jim Mutchler. But watch what Mutchler does. For another of the outstanding plays of the year, we've selected one that occurred in the game between the Baltimore Colts and the Los Angeles Rams in that great big Coliseum out in California. At about the end of the first quarter, the Rams enjoyed a 10-0 lead over the Baltimore Colts, and the Colts were in possession at their own 47-yard line. Now, in this particular play, we'll call your attention to the blocking of that Baltimore Colt line. So right now, let's go out to the Coliseum in California for this outstanding play. Unitas calls for a running play. He hands off to Mike Summer, and now we stop the action. Art Spinney has thrown a wonderful block. Spinney, number 63, blocking on Lamar Lundy, number 85. And notice the awfully fine block on the part of George Prees, big number 60. And the result? Well, for the Rams, you might say that Summer went by in a great big hurry.
Chuck, will you ever forget the title fever that was present among the Colt fans the week before and right up to the kickoff of the championship game with the Giants?
Oh, never, 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 Bailey. Of course, it was the first championship game to be played in Baltimore, and those famous Colt rooters, man, they lived up to their reputation. And so did the world champion Colts.
Yes, the Baltimore Colts are the world champions 2 years in a row. But we're looking forward to even a greater season coming up. Now, to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the fun, get your season tickets early. The 59 Colts has been another National Bohemian Beer sports presentation.